Hello everybody, Cat Matt here, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about weights. Of course we know Bottom Dwellers, Dave Ashby at Bottom Dwellers, he makes a lot of weights, tons and tons of different sizes and styles of weights, sells them at a really good price on our website, and we appreciate that. But let's get a little bit deeper into weights. How important exactly is weight to what you're doing? Well, I guess in some scenarios it's not all that important, but in a lot of scenarios we're fishing nowadays, it's very important. For instance, let's take a few for example. I know a lot of you remember last year we doing a video at Powhatan catching blue cats from the bank. This is a very unique situation where you're fishing a discharge and that water is pumping, and I mean, I don't know what the mile per hour is, so anything like that. If you're planning on going to Powhatan this winter, and realistically we've only got a couple and a half weeks before we'll all be down there at Powhatan catching your 10-ounce, the Bottom Dweller style. If you don't want your line, that's what it took washing up against the bank 2 foot from the bank, and just to hold for a while, which is what I wanted to do. You need to get on the phone with Dave. And give him a call, loose and move a little bit, and or get on his website at bottomdwellerstackle.com and make yourself an order of 8s, 10s, even 12s. The Bottom Dwellers have worked really good. I didn't take any of the no rolls, but I know that they would work good. The River Sinkers would work really good, but the Bottom Dwellers, for my money, were the best, and the River Sinkers, simply because you can team them up with the sinker slides. And if you get if you change areas there, you'll find where that water comes pumping out of that discharge, it kind of hits the bank and then it rolls around. Well, if you're down a little ways, you don't need all the weight. If you're right up there at the top where that water first runs into the bank and veers off, where it's really heavy current, you need the weight. And if you're fishing from the other bank, so you're casting with the current, basically, you don't need quite as much weight. So instead of re-rigging, because a lot of times when you're out there fishing, your hands are really cold. It's January, for the love of God, December, January in Illinois. So make sure you get yourself some sinker slides where you can just clip, take your 10-ounce sinker off. You can pop yourself a 4-aught if you're in lower current. If you're sitting down there in still water fishing the first discharge into the lake, you can pop a 2-aught on if you want to. It doesn't make no difference. But the sinker slide keeps you from having to cut your line, run that sinker off, run a new one. So if you're going to be doing a lot of winter fishing, period, really, where keeping your hands warm is top one priority. Grab some sinker slides, very important. I used a lot of the Cannonballs this year. Never had used Cannonball sinker in all the fishing I've done in my lifetime, and that's quite a bit. I had never used a Cannonball sinker. I'd always used eggs, no rolls, bank sinkers, river sinkers. I really like these if you're vertical fishing. This round design, they sink really fast, which if you're trying to get something down a small hole, you're fishing in between a couple of logs or whatever, and you're going to run this at the bottom and run the leader up top with a 3-way or some other style of rig, this Cannonball really came in handy last year. And again, these come with the brass eye, so you can work them with the sinker slides. And so vertical fishing last year, I used these a lot. The Cannonballs were great for it. Places like LaSalle Lake, Powhatan Lake, some of your lazier pools on the Mississippi River, even some of the lazier pools on the Rock last year, I was using a lot of Dave's pencil sinkers. And I know these also interchange with the sinker slides, plus he has them in a few different lengths. Great little sinker to drag along here. You can adjust your leader length. You can put a long leader on, put a float on there if you want to, and bead that off if you want to. Keep your bait up off the bottom. You can use a tiny little Lindy style float and just keep it barely off the bottom with this. You can control how far. You can go to a shorter pencil sinker. So if you like to drift in low current, no current, these pencils last year, I really enjoyed using these. This is something you're going to want to check in on to get ready for next year. Egg sinkers, the most common sinker probably ever made. Don't know why, probably because maybe it was an easy mold to make when they started making sinkers, not sure. I still love egg sinkers. If you're gonna anchor up and all day long, and you're gonna be casting straight behind your boat and fishing that style all day long, you can't beat an egg sinker, because all you're wanting then is just to sink. If you're not going to be side fishing and you don't want the bait moving real fast, or any of these other situations we've talked about, you can't beat an egg sinker. Again, bank sinkers, I used to use a lot of these also. These are good for walking baits back towards you. Jigging, you can lift them up and they'll stand, just bring your bait up off the bottom, especially with a short leader. I use these in the winter quite a bit right now, because I can drag that bait through the schools of channel cats on a very short leader, and basically just stand this up, and it's just going to lift them redworms up or night crawlers, whatever. I mean, you're just going to lift them up a little bit, and I can sit it down and it just folds back over and lays down. Yeah, you can do that with a lot of other things just by hand, but this really makes it easy. You can almost feel that weight lift and start to drag, and you lay it down. So another great situation for another style of sinker that Dave makes. And again, you know, Dave, not just do you need these sinkers for these situations, but you know, if you need sinkers, don't forget he sells a very high quality sinker slide, J&N dip worms, G&S cheese bait, grabber jaws, hams, batter. I think he's selling Ming Yang reels now. He'll probably be selling party pontoons and women's lingerie before long, I don't know, but the guy does a great job with his sinkers. These bottom dwellers are his unique design, and what I really found about them last year, fishing in heavy rock, this pear-shaped design did really well as far as not getting hooked up. I was really, you know, to stop against a rock and work it off there really well. So so we covered some situations: bank fishing in heavy current, bank fishing in slow current, fishing direct downstream from a boat, vertical fishing, drifting. Also, one thing I did not do, the no rolls. You know, these are very common, a 3-ounce no roll for the Rock River, very common size for me to use. Now, if I want to side cast a bait in the Rock River in its general level with its current, with a big bait, I'll throw a 6-aught no roll on, 6-ounce, excuse me, because this will hold for a little bit, and that bait will break it loose and it'll move a little, and then it'll hold a little bit, and then the bait will break, and that's what I want. I don't want the bait to just whoop. Yeah, aggressive channel cat, you know, maybe you bump into a flathead, piss him off, whatever, but I want it to move a little, stop, move a little, stop, move a little, so I'll go up to a 6. And then again, if I never cast directly at cover behind my boat when I'm flathead fishing. I always cast to the side a little bit and let the current take it into the cover. Throwing on top of the cover, great. Sometimes you get lucky and you get right on the edges of that tree or that root ball, whatever you're aiming for. But if you just throw 5-6 feet to the side with a 3-ounce, which is enough to hold the bait down, it's going to work into the cover. So throw to the side just a hair, let the sinker and the bait do the rest of it for you. Nothing more frustrating than sitting on a piece of cover for a half an hour, going to reel in, finding out your bait wasn't even on the bottom anyway. You had thrown into the root ball, got stuck 6 foot off the bottom, the bait was twisted up and couldn't move. You were basically just sitting there passing time on the water. So that's what I like my no rolls for. Smaller ones for casts off the corner and directly behind the boat. Larger ones throwing out the side of the boat, even towards the front of the boat, and letting them work back down for you. So as you get ready for next season, which next season's coming real soon for you people in the north, and it never really ends for the people in the south, take some of these scenarios I talked about, give Dave a call, and order you up some sinkers. You're going to need them for Powhatan, you're going to need them for LaSalle, you're going to need them for the river, you're going to need them for the lake, you're going to need them for the creek and the stream. So give Dave a call, get everything you need. Enjoy your Christmas, people. I hope you all have a great Christmas. I appreciate everything that every member does on our board. You all have a great holiday season. We hope 2011 is the best year you've all you've ever had, and get ready now. Don't wait until later on in the year. And, oh man, I need this and I need that and I need this. We've covered a scenario you can use the sinker for. Give Dave a call.